Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I'm your instructor, facilitator, and mentor, Dr. Aisha Mahmood, and I welcome you all to the third week of the online course, Introduction to Information Technology. Week 1 and 2 introduced you to basic computer concepts and digital media, and why and how teachers and administrators integrate computer technology and digital media into primary and secondary education. As you completed the content of last 2 weeks, you would have now begun to understand the vocabulary used to describe the computer technology, mobile devices, digital media, and educational technology. In this week, we will discuss about the in-depth concepts related to internet. And next week, we'll be discussing about the web and media and the services available on the internet. After completing this week's content, you will be able to discuss the evolution of internet, describe how internet works, briefly describe various broadband internet connections, and describe the purpose of an IP address and its relationship to a domain name. After completing lecture 1, you will be able to discuss the evolution of internet. You will be able to describe how internet works. One of the major reasons business, home, and other users purchase computers and mobile devices is for internet access. The internet is a worldwide collection of networks that connects millions of businesses, government agencies, educational institutions, and individuals. Each of networks on the internet provides resources that add to the abundance of goods, services, and information accessible via the internet. Today, billions of home and business users around the world access a variety of services on the internet using computers and mobile devices. The web, messaging, and video communications are some of the more widely used internet services. Other internet services include chat rooms, discussion forums, and file transfer. To enhance your understanding of internet services, we begin by discussing the history of the internet and how the internet works, and then we'll try to explain each of these services. The internet has its roots in a networking project started by the Pentagon's Advanced Research Project Agency, ARPA, an agency of the US Department of Defense. ARPA's goal was to build a network that, first of all, allowed scientists at different physical locations to share information and work together on military and scientific projects. And secondly, could function even if part of the network were disabled or destroyed by a disaster such as a nuclear attack. That network, called ARPANET, became functional in September 1969, linking scientific and academic researchers across the United States. The original ARPANET consisted of four main computers, one each located at the University of California at Los Angeles, the University of California at Santa Barbara, the Stanford Research Institute, and the University of Utah. Each of these computers served as a host on the network. A host, more commonly known today as a server, is any computer that provides services and connections to other computers on a network. Hosts often use high-speed communications to transfer data and messages over a network. By 1984, ARPANET had more than 1,000 individual computers linked as hosts. Today, millions of hosts connect to this network, which now is known as the Internet. The Internet consists of many local, regional, national, and international networks. Both public and private organizations own networks on the Internet. These networks, along with the phone companies, cable and satellite companies, and the government, all contribute toward the internal structure of the Internet. Now, pause this lecture and visit the Speaks free resources more uh, to learn more about the internet. Backbone of internet first provided by National Science Foundation called NSFNet. Because of its advanced technology, NSFNet served as the major backbone network of the internet until 1995. A backbone is a high-speed network that connects regional and local networks to the internet. Other computers then connect to these regional and local networks to access the internet. A backbone thus handles the bulk of communications activity or traffic on the internet. In 1995, NSFNet terminated its backbone network on the internet to return to its purpose as a research network. Today, a variety of corporations, commercial firms, and other companies operate the backbone networks that provide access to the internet. These backbone networks, telephone companies, cable and satellite companies, educational institutions, and government all contribute extensive resources to the internet. As a result, the internet is truly collaborative entity. Over the years, the total number of computers connected to the original network increased steadily, and within the last few years, explosively. Today, experts estimate that hundreds of millions of computers distribute information over the internet, including those at virtually all K-12 schools. An emerging internet called Internet I2 is an extremely high-speed network that develops and tests advanced internet technologies for research and teaching and learning, including those used by the Web 2.0 and Web 3.0. Members of I2 include more than 200 US universities in cooperation with 115 leading corporations. Examples of I2 projects that are now mainstream include telemedicine, digital libraries, that includes online books, magazines, music, movies, speeches, and so on, and the faster internet services. You may ask, who owns the internet? No single person, company, institution, or government agency owns the internet. Each organization on the internet is responsible only for maintaining its own network. The World Wide Web Consortium, which is called W3C, however, oversees research and sets standards and guidelines for many areas of the internet. The mission of W3C is to ensure the continued growth of the web. Nearly 400 organizations from around the world are members of W3C, advising, defining standards, and addressing other issues. I would like you to now pause this lecture and watch the video named How the Internet Works. That will explain the main concepts related to the internet, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss those concepts one by one. Welcome back. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Computers and other digital devices connected to the internet together to transfer data around the world. When a computer sends data over the internet, the computer's software divides the data into small pieces called packets. The data in a packet might be part of an email message, a file, a document, a graphic, or a request for a file. Each packet contains the data as well as the recipient means the destination, origin means the sender, and the sequence information needed to reassemble the data at the destination. Packets travel along the fastest path available to the recipient's computer via hardware devices called routers. यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि ये आपको routers नजर आ रहे हैं. If the most direct path to the destination is overloaded or not operating, routers send the packets along alternate paths. अब यहाँ पे आप ये देख रहे हैं कि अगर एक path available नहीं है तो there can be multiple alternate paths available. Although each packet may arrive out of sequence, the destination computer uses the sequence information contained in each packet to reassemble the original message, file, document, or request. Packet switching is the technique of breaking a message into individual packets, sending the packet along the best route available, and reassembling the data. For a technique such as packet switching to work, all the devices on the network must follow certain standards or protocols. A communications protocol specifies the rules that define how devices connect to each other and transmit data over a network. The protocol used to define packet switching on the internet is called Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol. Data sent over the internet travels over networks and communications lines owned and operated by many companies. You can connect to these networks in one of the several ways. Some users connect to the internet through an internet service provider called ISP or an online service provider OSP, often using a modem to establish a connection. Organizations such as schools and businesses provide internet access for students and employees by connecting their own network to an ISP. Some school districts and provinces also provide internet services for teachers and administrators so they can access the internet from their institutions. Users can connect their computers and mobile devices to the internet through wired or wireless technology and then access its services free or for a fee. With wired connections, a company or a device physically attached with a cable or wire to a communications device, such as a modem, that transmits data and other items over transmission media to the internet. For wireless connections, many mobile computers and devices include the necessary built-in technology so that they can transmit data and other items wirelessly. Computers without their capability can use a wireless modem or other communication device that enables wireless connectivity. A wireless modem, for example, uses a wireless communication technology such as cellular radio, satellite, or Wi-Fi to connect to the internet. This figure shows examples of modems. The wireless modem shown in the figure on the right side is known as a dongle, which is a small device that connects to the computer and enables additional functions when attached. Today, often users connect to the internet via broadband internet service by using a modem on your left because of its fast data transfer speeds and its always on connection. Through broadband internet service, users can download web pages quickly, play online games, communicate in real time with others, and more. Dear students, this week we have studied what is internet, the evolution of the internet, history of the internet, and how the internet works.